John's Gospel is actually structured so that we as the reader have to ask the question time and time again, who is this man? Who is Jesus? Is he just a moral teacher? Is he just this crazy man who went round and actually thought he was divine? Or surely not. Is he actually God, clothed in human flesh? We are looking at how we can know God. And to look at this in more depth, we have been exploring the 7 I am statements of Jesus that appear to us in the Gospel of John. Now, to understand the claim Jesus is making with these statements, we need to understand that when God first appeared to Moses and introduced himself, he explains that his name is I am. So Jesus picks up on this name, and time again, he gives us more detail of who God is. Today, we are looking at I am the gate. In order to grasp what Jesus is saying here, we need to look at the parable he tells us just before this I am statement. Here, Jesus gives us an image his listeners would instantly understand. In their world, shepherding was everywhere. Sheep weren't kept in neat little fenced fields like we might imagine. Instead, they were often gathered into stone-walled pens and with just one doorway for coming in and going out. That doorway was the only safe way in, and the shepherd himself would use it. Jesus takes that everyday picture and says, I am the gate. He isn't just saying he's one of many options. He's claiming to be the one true way in. But the question is, the way into what? When we read carefully, it's clear Jesus is talking about access to God himself. He is the way to know the Father. He's saying, I am the entry point into relationship with your Creator. Later, as Jesus prepares himself for the cross, Jesus makes this statement and makes this point even more directly. He says, if you've seen me, you have seen the Father. So when he calls himself the gate, he's saying he alone is the way to life with God. That in itself, in our culture, is enough to get you cancelled. Jesus is not saying all religions are practically the same, all good people get to heaven. He's making a bold statement by saying he is the only way to the Father. He is the gate into the relationship with our Heavenly Father. Now in John 10 verse 1, note who Jesus is actually talking to. He's not teaching the masses this time. He's not teaching the crowds. He's teaching the religious elite. And if he's teaching them, he must have seen something that he would want to correct. So what then is he teaching? Well, let us pause and read John 9.
Messiah, this is Jesus, the teacher.
The one who healed Shula and me.
He knows, Barnaby.
Barnaby, he's not deaf, he's blind. Shabbat Shalom, Uzziah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi, please answer this for us. Who sinned? Uzziah or his parents that he was born blind?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
there. Hold still. Now wash. Right here to your right. That's it. Wat is ik ook?
Jesus had just healed a blind man, and the Pharisees were angry that Jesus had healed this man. Firstly, they were angry because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath, but there's something else going on too. You see, in Hebrew culture, it was thought that if you were born with a major birth defect, it was a sign from God that he was punishing you. So if you were born blind, you must have done something pretty shocking for God to curse you like that, which is of course not true. But this is the reality this man had been facing from birth. It's even why the disciples asked, who sinned, this man or his parents? And it's why the Pharisees said in verse 34, you are born in sin and you dare to teach us. So Jesus is addressing these Pharisees in John 10 verse 1. Very truly I tell you, Pharisees, anyone who does not enter the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. Jesus is calling these Pharisees robbers. And in order for us to understand, we need to pause and read Ezekiel chapter 34, verses 1 to 6, and chapter 34, verses 1 to 11. Going back to our study passage in John 10, everyone in the crowd knows what Jesus is saying. He is repainting this picture in Ezekiel, and he's saying, this is the current situation. This is what has happened. In John 10, verses 3 to 5, Jesus says the shepherd calls his sheep by name, leads them out, and they follow because they know his voice. Sheep in the Middle East were led differently than in places like Australia. There, shepherds often drive the sheep from behind, pushing them forward with sticks. But in Jesus' world, shepherds walked ahead. The sheep didn't follow by sight. They couldn't see far in front of them. They followed by listening for their shepherd's familiar voice. Jesus is that kind of shepherd, a leading shepherd. He doesn't force or push us. He calls us into love, inviting us to follow. His voice is gentle and personal. This is especially powerful in the context of John 9, where Jesus had just healed a blind man. The religious leaders shamed that man, but Jesus came back to find him, not just to heal his eyes, but to heal his heart too. He showed that true shepherding means love and compassion, not control and shame. Unlike the Pharisees who hurt and exclude, Jesus lays down his own life for the sheep. The only way in is through Jesus' sacrifice. He is the gate. He is the one way into relationship with God.